So we're gonna do a little show and tell here on how to change the filter on the new laser. So the first thing you need to do is you need to come over to this box over here and you need to pop it open and remove the laser filter. So the thing that you have to know about this is the steel mesh gets caught on these set screws here and here. So you're gonna have to do some careful wiggling. Do not yank on it, because if you yank on it, you're gonna break the seals here and potentially loosen this gasket, and that's bad. So it's all about patience and a little bit of bending things in various directions. Now, based on the amount of crud on this filter, it's not exhausted, because it doesn't look awful. This is the one that looks awful. So when a filter is exhausted, you have to take it out and discard it, just throw it away in the trash. If it's exceptionally dusty and crappy, then maybe seal that up in the trash bag and plan on taking it out. What you're gonna have are two objects here. You have the lid from the filter, and then you have the filter mesh itself. Now, the name of the game is to get an extra piece of this furnace filter material, and you want to cut enough so that you have the full area covered with 2 layers of this material. So just cutting across the filter and folding it in half the way this user does doesn't actually get you the coverage you need. So this filter here is too small. I'm probably going to have to find some inventive ways to, yes, this piece right here I can see is going to get me 2 layers. I'm here and I'm here. So this is going to be 2 layers of the material. So I'm setting the screen on here. I'm using a pair of common scissors, and I'm just cutting that across the furnace filter material. In the future, we are going to be looking at sourcing this on the roll, but this is what we can get at Home Depot today. Now the next part is, there's this piece of cardboard here that is extra and extraneous, so I'm going to have to take a moment to cut that out. It doesn't have to be perfect, just relatively in the right shape. Now the furnace filters come in our current iteration with this paper support material. You're going to want to carefully peel it off the green filter, fiberglass filter, and just snip it out. If you put that in the laser, what you're going to do is reduce efficiency, and the filter will not have enough life. Generally speaking, these furnace filters have about 144 minutes of cut time life in them per set when cutting plywood or things without adhesive. Okay, so now that I've got this, I need it to fill this whole filter. So I'm using that as a prop to figure out where to fold it. And then I'm making sure that it's folded. Now, I would also like to get rid of this area up here at the top. So I'm peeling that back because I really want the fiberglass filter to be doing its job. I don't need this bit of paper. I only leave as much paper as it takes to keep it stable. But I folded it in half, and I am pressing it down very firmly. Now the next bit is a bit tricky, and this is where I use the extra bit that I cut off from the filter. I'm putting it between the sandwich, and I'm using it to keep it firm so that I can wiggle the filter down in the sandwich as far as possible without catching on the wire mesh. Because this gap that you can see there, that's not good. That's a place for a whole bunch of material to get all the way through to the blower fan. So I'm using the cardboard and opening up the mesh to get it down. And it's going to be kind of a pain in the ass. As you can tell that it's not just sliding on in there. This is kind of a pain in the ass. But you can see I can push on the cardboard and kind of get it to go. And I might need to bend the metal back. and get it to shove in there. And that's pretty good. We've reached pretty good. And if for some reason it escapes the edges, just kind of shove it back in. So you can see here, that's fairly well placed. And there's no extra big gaps. That's what you're paying attention to. Now at this point, I'm kind of pressing on it and bending the filter back in. And I'm bending these edges using the cardboard so that there are no big old spurs of metal to catch on those set screws we pointed out earlier. Now that you have this nice new fresh filter, you take it on over. And you want it to go across this way. It's very specific, the orientation. Not this way, because you're gonna get the best filtration from the laser through to the blower. And so I'm wiggling it, I'm holding the sandwich closed tight so that I can get through those set screws. And I might get caught. I might have to do a little bit of wiggling. There's a whole nother set down there. And the key with this is patience.
As with so many things.
You want to shove it in, but that's not the name of the game. You want to make sure that it's all the way to the bottom. Right now, I can tell you that it's not because I can slide my fingers in and I can slide a finger underneath. And that's bad. So I know that I'm stuck on a set screw. Now that I can run my finger along the bottom of this in the box, and I know that it's fully down. Next, you put the top on, and you can see that it's crusty, so I might take a minute to decrustify it with a nice paper towel. I don't want to get rid of any of this nice sealing material, that's important. And it should easily latch on. If you're having to push really hard, that means that your screen isn't set correctly and you need to reset it. And now you're good to go. All you have to do is log that you put in a new filter, and it's time to laser away.